how's it going? Julio DeSantos here, and the topic I want to cover today is adversity and how to overcome adversity. Now, one thing you need to realize is that everybody faces adversity. It doesn't matter who you are. And people who go on and accomplish great feats, more often than not, have faced the most adversity. However, somewhere along the line, they've learned not only how to deal with adversity, not only how to overcome adversity, but they've learned how to use adversity to their advantage. Now, my goal in this video is to show you how to get to that point. Now, when you're faced with adversity, you have two choices. Now, you can either succumb to your adversity, you can run away from your problems, you can quit and give up whatever you're doing so that you no longer have to hear or deal with the adversity that you're dealing with, right, because it becomes too much for you. Or you can learn how to overcome adversity, right, and how to eventually use adversity to fuel your drive, okay? Now, I'm going to go over a few steps that I kind of drafted up myself that I find very important when it comes to the topic of dealing with adversity. Step number one, you need to recognize the fact that everybody deals with adversity, and a lot of people have dealt with adversity on a massive scale and yet have still gone out and accomplished whatever it was that they were trying to accomplish. For example, Michael Jordan getting cut from his high school basketball team and then becoming the best player ever to live, right? So, you need to realize that if one person does something, even though it might seem impossible before, but as soon as one person accomplishes it, it therefore makes it possible for any other human being to do the same thing. When Michael Jordan dunked from the free throw line, well, many people might have thought that was impossible, but as soon as he did it, everyone else realized, yeah, Michael Jordan pulled it off, now I can too, and a few other people after Michael Jordan have also accomplished dunking from the free throw line. So realize, a lot of people have faced massive amounts of adversity, have overcome it, right? So you can too. Step number two, you're going to need to keep a positive mental attitude toward the experience, okay? In other words, you need to have the mindset that everything happens for a reason, because it does. Now, whenever you're faced with adversity, you need to look for the seed of equivalent benefit in the situation. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story. So there's a Chinese man, and in China, it's really hectic. There's a war going on, and he has a son. Now, he loves his son very much, and he does not want to see his son get hurt, or he doesn't want anything to happen to his son. This is his only son, his pride and joy, right? So he prays for his son. He prays and asks, please allow my son to be safe, right? I don't want anything happen to him. I love him very, very much. Now, 2 days later, his son fell off a horse and broke his leg. Now, a lot of his friends and acquaintances have came up like, I'm sorry for what happened to your son. You know, it's tragic. However, he looked at those people and he told them, no, it's okay. Now, I don't know how, but I know this is a good thing, right? I know this was meant to be. Now, the next day, the Chinese army came storming through town, right, to recruit every single young male who was able to fight in the war. Now, guess what? They came to the house of the Chinese man, looked at his son, noticed he had a broken leg, and so they did not take him into the war. See? Look for the seed of equivalent benefit, right, in the situation. Now, step number three is take a day or a night off, right? Sometimes adversity, it eats away at you. I admit I've been a victim of adversity, right? But when it becomes too much, don't stress out. Don't overwork yourself. That's the last thing you want to do. That's just going to make it worse for yourself, right? What you're going to want to do is just take a day off, relax, try not to think about it. I know early in my career, right, when I went into business for myself, I spent nights where I was sitting there like, man, this whole week I've been working so hard. I haven't been getting the results that I wanted. Maybe I should just give up, right? But when those days came, I simply was like, all right, I'm just not going to think about it today. Just going to relax today, forget about everything, just, spend time with my family, spend time with my little 2-year-old nephew, whatever it was to get my mind off of the thoughts that I was having, right? Because what you think about grows. So whenever you have negative thoughts, you want to stop thinking about them, right? And you're not going to be able to do that if you continue to go and try and do the work that you want to get done, right? Everybody needs a day off. One thing that they say is for every 7 days, you need at least one full day to yourself off, right? I'm about to be doing a 90-day challenge coming up here soon, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 6 days a week, right? And then the 7th day is just a day to kick back and relax, right? So whenever adversity starts beginning to get to be too much, right? Whenever it starts eating away at you and starts making you get frustrated and making you have thoughts of disbelief, then take a day off, sleep a whole day, right? Because the next day when you wake up, all those thoughts are going to be gone. Now you're going to be like, okay, it's a new day. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go make stuff happen, right? And all the negative thoughts are no longer in your head. You're ready to start the day with a new slate. So remember, don't overwork yourself. We need at least one day off out of the week. Step number 4 is know where you're going, right? And know the fact that you're going to get there. Because once you know where you're going and you know 120% that you're going to get there, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks because you know. Nothing can tell you otherwise. Some people might not agree, but hey, they're not you. So once you know where you're going, right, your belief level is going to be raised and adversity is not going to take such a toll on you because you made up in your mind that no matter what everybody else thinks, no matter what everybody else says, right, it has no relevance to you because at the end of the day, you know where you're going and you know for a fact that you're going to get there. You have yourself convinced, right, that you believe 120% that you're going to get to the finish line. So I'm just going to go over a recap of the 4 steps, and then I'm going to let you guys know about a little adversity that I have faced along the way, okay? So remember the 4 steps. Recognize that everybody faces adversity, so you can too. Step number 2, you need to keep a positive mental attitude towards the situation, okay? Step number 3, you need to take at least one day out of your week off, right? When adversity becomes too much, right? Don't let it eat away at you. Take a day off. Now, step number 4 is to know where you're going and know the fact that you're going to get there. All right, so I just want to cover a few forms of adversity that I've had to overcome and face. The first one being my junior year in high school, I actually got kicked out of my high school and sent to a continuation high school, which my mom wasn't very happy about, and neither was many of my family members. I was actually only the second person in my whole family to ever go and graduate from a continuation high school. Now, as I was sitting in the principal's office being told that I was going to be sent to Laguna, in the back of my head, I wasn't too worried because I've always kept the mindset that everything happens for a reason. So I was more or less curious on what was in store for me this next year, right? What this whole Laguna experience is going to do for me. Now, when I officially got enrolled in Laguna, it actually benefited me quite a lot. Now, here are just a few ways. So number 1, it's the first time that I ever went and sought counseling. It's the first time I ever really opened up to someone, right, and allowed them to know information about my life that deeply affected me. And therefore, it made me become a lot more open to more people. I let more people into my life. And it honestly made me a lot happier, right, instead of keeping everything bottled in. Now, I've made about, a little over $500 my 1 year at Laguna just from essay contest and student of the month type deals like that, right? Now, the workload at Laguna was very easy, and so it allowed me to have a full-time job while working there, and I was able to keep my grades up. I stood as the student board representative and met with the school board, the superintendent, and 2 other representatives from the other high schools in the district, right? And I met up once a month with them. And that was a very good experience. I spoke in front of them all, let them know what was happening on our campus the month prior to the meeting. And also, I was able to graduate 3 months early. All right, so my last example is when I went into business for myself. I faced a lot of adversity, from my family, from other peers, from outside sources, telling me that it wasn't real, it wasn't going to happen. Why are you wasting your money? And things of that nature, right? Now, it got down on me. I won't lie in the beginning. However, I went through the 4 steps, right? I recognized that other people have faced the same adversity and have overcome it and went out to be a millionaire with the company. I realized that there has to be something good, right? There has to be something good waiting for me at the end of this journey, right? I was looking for the seed of equivalent benefit, right? If I stayed in, where could I be a year from now? Now, number 3, when things got hard and, the adversity started really taking a toll on myself and I thought about giving up, I just took the day off. Simple as that. I woke up the next day fine and ready to grind, okay? So now step number 4 is I knew where I was going the whole time. Even though I didn't know much about the company and I didn't really know what I was going to need to do to get to where I wanted to go, right? But the why doesn't matter, or the how doesn't matter, I knew why I was going to get there. I knew why I was so driven, right? I knew I was going to get there 120%, and so that's what really kept me going, and hey, look where I'm at now. So realize everyone faces adversity. You can overcome it. You can achieve greatness. Greatness is within all of us, not a select few. So thank you for watching the video. I look forward to speaking with you again.